Hello everyone, it's Old Guardian here, and this is the new player beginner's guide to Raid Shadow Legends for 2026. Raid is an incredibly complex game, but in this guide I'm trying to keep it compact and still I'm trying to get you all the information that you need to have a very successful start to Raid, have fun with Raid, and get through your first weeks with the game. And it all begins before you even install Raid. This video is sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends, thank you Raid for that, and they also gave me this wonderful creator promo link down below the description there in the QR code. Start Raid with this link and you will get Tholin Foulbeard after the tutorial, you can use Desert Queen code to get 200 a wonderful Void Legendary, Ezio Auditore has a login bonus, and 3 wonderful epic champions, Rector Drath, Venomage, Uugo. So this is going to give you a massive head start to Raid. And these creator promo links are super important nowadays for starting Raid, because the experience is completely different. If you don't start with a promo link, you are going to miss out on so much power, you're going to struggle with progress, whereas with a good promo link, you can just blast through content. Raid started doing more of these promo links in 2025 and they are now an essential part of the experience. And sadly, these are something that you need to do before you even install Raid. If you have already installed Raid, I'm sorry, you are a little bit late. You will need to restart. You will want to restart. You will need a new email address for that if you have bound your Raid account to an email address. If you did your Raid account with a mobile device, then you won't be able to use the same mobile device. On this one, Raid recommends doing these on PC. So you want to create the account on PC, then tie it to an email address and then use that email address and log in to play on your mobile. Or if you're on PC, just uninstall it, reinstall it with the link, and you will be able to get the champions and get the good start. So it's super unfortunate that if you just download Raid from the website or from the store, then that is an absolutely wrong way to start Raid nowadays, because you're going to miss out on so much power and your experience is just not going to be as good. But once you have your account started with a promo link, we're off to the races. You get to choose your first champion. And all of these champions are capable of farming the campaign. Although if you start with my promo link, you will get Tholin Foulbeard and then you want to use Tholin as your campaign farmer. So then you actually won't have much use for any of these. Typically, Kale has been the #1 choice. Kale is a poisoner. Kale is very good against bosses, and that is something that you're very bad against typically early on, so Kale has been very strong. Elhain is another pretty good option. Elhain is good in some Doom Tower flaws, although that's going to be much later when you're going into some rooms where you have to have a rare champion, and then Elhain is going to shine there. Kale and Atel, they all have their upsides. So I would probably still pick Kale. Kale is generally like the strongest of these. But with Tholin on board, it doesn't make too much of a difference. And then as you get into battles in Raid, note that Raid is not really a game where you direct every movement of your characters. You can do that, you can fight manually, but mostly Raid is about building the right sort of team composition for the challenge and then letting them go through it automatically. So you want to click on auto and you want to click on X2 time so that everything is going to happen automatically and much faster. Because that's really the way Raid is meant to be played. The majority of grinding in Raid is done automatically, fast, and then there are only some encounters where you need to be a little bit more careful about what exactly is going to happen and manually control the champions. Also, you want to start going through the campaign and you want to get those 3-star campaign completions for extra rewards, and a 3-star campaign result comes from clearing a stage with only 2 champions in the team without losing anybody. So 2 champions is what you mainly want to have when you go through the campaign. Then at some point you might not be able to do it with 2 champions, then you might bring in more to get through that stage, and then perhaps some later stage you can easier for your champion, so you will be able to go back down to 2 again. The tutorial will also have you upgrade some gear, and a note on gear upgrades, because you really want to click on that instant upgrade checkbox and then note that from the settings menu, you can actually choose to upgrade directly to level 4, 8, 12, or 16. Those are the major levels where the item gets more stats. So make good use of these. You don't have to click on upgrade and wait for the slow animation. That would take a long time, but make use of the instant upgrade and the quick upgrade. So that will make the game so much more fun. And very early in the game, you're focused on getting through the campaign, at least through brutal difficulty, not so much a nightmare. Nightmare is not as important. And then on doing missions, doing your quests, doing some challenges, and doing your apprentice pass. There is a lot to do in the missions, and the missions will also guide you on what sort of things you want to do, and the reward for Arbiter is really, really good in the end. So these are very important to do. Challenges a little bit less, especially artifact challenges. Note that artifact challenges are for some reason very, very difficult to complete for very few rewards, so don't mind if you can't do the artifact challenges. But other than that, you can pay a little bit of attention on the challenges as well. You also get an Apprentice Pass when you start the game, and Apprentice Pass is going to give you a bunch of lifesteal gear right at the start, and you want to equip that gear on your campaign farmer to make them that much stronger. The pass is also going to give you 3-star chickens fairly early on, and you want to use those to upgrade your starter champion. Because upgrading champions is crucially important in Raid. Raid is a game more about depth than about width, so roster depth is more important. Having champions that are level 60 is super important, because a single level 60 champion can often take out a team full of level 50 champions. That's how big the difference is. And a champion can reach a level equal to their star rank times 10. So you start with Kale, for example. The starter champion is a rare start at 3 stars. Legendaries, by the way, like Tholin, start at 5 stars, so Tholin can become a level 50, just playing the game, whereas Kale can become level 30. Once Kale becomes level 30, you need to sacrifice other champions or chickens of the same star rank to upgrade them. So a 3-star Kale is going to need 3 other 3-star champions of any level, so they can be level 1 champions. You don't want to level up your food too much. Then Kale will become a level 1 4-star Kale. And then level 1 4-star Kale is going to level up and become level 40 4-star Kale, and so on and so forth. So you get those first 3-star chickens from the Apprentice Pass. You don't have to farm food, but from there you will need to farm food. People call it food. They are champions that you will sacrifice in order to upgrade your other champions. And how do you farm food? You will end up with a bunch of champions. Some of them start as 1-star, so commons, 2 stars as uncommons. For 1-star champions, you want to feed them 1 XP brew and then 3 other 1-star champions. That will get them to level 10, and once they reach level 10, the level cap of that star rank, you can upgrade them. You feed them another 1-star champion, level 1 1-star champion, upgrade them, and then they are 2 stars, level 1. The 2-star champions, you want to take 3 2-star champions with you into the campaign. You have a campaign farmer, in this case it's going to be the Tholin, and then you want to use your campaign farmer to push through a stage with 3 food alongside it, so the food is going to get XP, and then they will get XP, and then they will gain those levels, and then you can upgrade them further. You ideally want to farm either Brutal 12-3, 12 is the zone, so in this case it's the Brimstone Path, and 3 is the stage within that zone. So Brutal 12-3 or 12-6 are the ideal ones. If you cannot do that, and Tholin, because Tholin is weak affinity for some of those stages, Tholin might be better off doing 11 for a while. Then Brutal 11 and Brutal 10 zones are the next best ones. And if you would have to go down to Brutal 9, then it's actually better to go down the difficulty level to Hard 12. That's just how the XP works in this game. So 12 gives you the most XP, then 11, then 10, and then the previous difficulty 12 comes after that. And you do this, and you repeat this, and you get 1-star champions, 2-star champions, 3-star champions, 4-star champions. At 4 stars, you want to use Sparring, but I'll talk about that in a little while. But you just upgrade them and you feed them to your main characters, and then they will get stronger. And you can use all of the common and uncommon champions that you get early on as food. Every single champion that starts as 1-star or 2-star, you can use them as food. You don't have to worry about it. Most rares will eventually also be food, so don't worry about them too much either. But epic and legendary champions always have other uses. You never use them as food. Then we get to that sparring bit, and we get to spending your gems. Gems are the premium currency, so you can buy gems with real money, but you will also earn actually quite a lot of gems by just playing the game. And spending gems, there are a few important things that you want to do early on. The very first thing is get full masteries on the campaign farmer champion that you use, so in this case that would be Tholin. That's going to cost 800 gems. That's a big power spike, and that means that Tholin is just going to become so much stronger and so much better at carrying your food and doing all sorts of things for you. After you have done that, you want to unlock the first level of Sparring Pit in the Guardian Ring, all the first level slots, so there are 5 slots. That costs you 1200 gems. That gets your 4-star food machine rolling. It's really a food factory there. So you get a level 1 4-star champion. You give it 3 XP brews in the tavern. It's going to be level 18. Then you put it in the sparring pit. And then you have 5 of these on the sparring pit. You have to redeem each time they reach a level before they start training for the next one. But if you do that, then in a week you will have 5 champions, 4 stars, level 40, ready to be upgraded to 5 stars and be used as food. Once you have that done, then you want to unlock your gem mine. That's going to cost you 1500 gems overall for all 3 ranks. Then gem mine is going to give you 3 gems every day. And you want to unlock your market slots. That's going to cost you 250 gems. And after that, you can optionally use gems for Guardian Ring Sparring Pit, so you can get it to upgrade faster. And the more you play the game, the faster you like it to be. The less you play, because you have to go redeem those levels, the less important it is to have higher levels on that. And after that, gems are mostly going to be spent on energy during various events, so that you will be able to grind some events. So I mentioned masteries and how they are a big power spike for a champion, and there are only 2 sources of mastery scrolls. So every champion that you want to have on a very serious level, like level 60 champion, you want to have the masteries. Either you buy all the scrolls for the champion for 800 gems, and even if you have already some of the scrolls, the price doesn't go down, it's always 800 gems. Or you farm them from Minotaur's Labyrinth. And mastery scrolls, they are such a major boost to the character that you really, really need them for your main characters. And the final mastery that can only be unlocked for a 6-star champion, that's going to be the most powerful one. Note that you only need the connecting node by mastery, so you have to connect them through the tree to get the final tier mastery. So you don't need to get every tier 5 mastery to get there. You don't have to have every scroll in order to have that 6-star mastery. That's going to be so crucial. It's going to be War Master for many of your champions early on, just for that damage in the Demon Lord. And you can get it a little bit earlier by not getting all the previous tier masteries first. And the most cost-effective way, once you can farm stage 15 of Minotaur, is to farm your mastery scrolls in Minotaur. And after you have purchased the first masteries for Tholin for 800 gems, and you bring Tholin alongside maybe Rector Drath there, then you should be able to carry others and bring those masteries up to speed. And in addition to masteries, the champions also need skills. Skill upgrades add more power to the skills, they make skills more reliable, or they lower the cooldowns of those skills. And to upgrade skills, you want to use tomes of matching rarity. So you have rare tomes, you want to use those to upgrade rare champions. You have legendary tomes, you want to upgrade legendary champions with those. A legendary tome could upgrade a common champion, but that would be a horrible, horrible waste. Using duplicate champions is also possible, but that's mainly for uncommons and commons, and you may not need any uncommons or commons anymore in 2026. Also note that when you upgrade a skill, the skill that gets upgraded is random. You cannot control that in any way. So people often say that, hey, you want to book like A1, you want to book A3. That, by the way, means the ordinal number of the skill. A1 is the first skill, A2 is the second skill, A3 is the third skill, and booking is upgrading those skills. But that just means using those tomes one by one or in small groups and seeing where the upgrades land. And sometimes there's a skill that you don't really care about that much. And if you happen to dodge that one, you get the other skills upgrade first, and you don't have to spend more books. But you cannot target a skill directly. It's always random which skill of the champion gets the upgrade. And in addition to their masteries and their skills, champions really love gear. Gear is going to be so important. Gear turns even weaker champions into much, much bigger threats. So what kind of gear is good? All gear has a main stat and then some substats. The number of substats depends on the rarity. And then there's the main stat. For the main stat, weapon, helmet and shield always have the same main stat. All weapons have attack. All helmets have HP. All shields have defense. Then the bottom row items, gloves, chest and boots, they can have other main stats. So for those, main stats are super important. Gloves are the only piece that can have critical rate and critical damage. So you generally want critical rate or critical damage on gloves because you typically want 100% critical rate on your damage dealer so that they will always deal critical damage. And you don't have a lot of stats early on, then critical rate gloves are super valuable in the early game. Chest is the only piece that can have resistance or accuracy, but they are kind of niche uses. You typically want chest to match your champion. So if you have an attack champion, you want it to have attack percentage. If you have a defense champion, you want that to have defense percentage. If you have an HP champion, you want that to have HP percentage. And you always want the percentage version. It's stronger than the flat stat version. And boots are the only piece that can have speed as their main stat, and that's why people say that you want speed boots. That means boots with speed as their main stat. And beyond that, you will want to pay attention to star number, and you want to pay attention to rarity. More stars means higher stats, and stars are more important than rarity. For example, if you have a 5-star piece that gives attack percentage, then a plus 16 piece would give you 50% attack. If you have a 3-star piece with the same, then it only gives you 30%. So you're missing out on 20% of attack. And as you can see, this is quite important. Higher rarity means that there's more substat rolls, but stars are better than rarity, especially early on. So you want to aim for stats over sets. Typically the set bonus is not enough to compensate for a bad piece. If you have a bad piece, then just using a good piece from another set, even losing the set bonus, that's typically more stats, more effective character overall. And stars over rarity. So for example, in one of my early accounts, I used common gloves with crit rate for a long time because I didn't have any other crit rate gloves. I would love to use only rare pieces, epic and legendary pieces, and then going to higher and higher rarities if possible, but sometimes you have to make do with even weaker ones. And you want to start aiming for 5-star rares in general. That's like what you want to start aiming for pretty early on, although you may need to use 4-star pieces for some time as well. So now you're progressing through the campaign, you're doing some missions, you're getting some champions, you're leveling up, you're ranking up, you're getting them masteries, you're getting them skills, you're getting them gear, and then your next target, the big early target in the game, really is the Demon Lord. The clan boss Demon Lord, it's going to be your main source of sacred shards, and sacred shards are very important as currency for various events. Typically shards are currency for events. There are going to be events where you will be able to get lots of good things by spending shards, and that's the main thing that you will spend your biggest shards on. Demon Lord is a very important daily farm target once you're able to get the top chest from Nightmare or from Ultra Nightmare. You get 1 key for Demon Lord every 6 hours, up to maximum of 2 keys. So once you have 2 keys, the timer stops. So you generally want to use your keys before 12 hours have passed, although you don't really have to use. You can get 4 keys per 24 hours, but you don't actually have to get that. The stronger your team becomes, the fewer keys you need. So the ideal goal is that you can kill Ultra Nightmare with 1 key. You can get top chest of Nightmare with 1 key, you can top chest of Brutal with 1 key, and then you could also get top chest of Hard with 1 key, but that's pretty optional because Hard is already so much lower rewards. The real rewards start with Brutal, Sacred Shards start with Nightmare, and get more common with Ultra Nightmare. So those are really the ones where this becomes important. If your guild manages to actually kill the boss, then he will get double rewards, so some keys can also help with that. And you want to build a team of level 60 champions that are good against Demon Lord as soon as possible so that you can take on this challenge, and that will start giving you a lot of rewards, and then those rewards will allow further account progress. And there is so much more in Raid. I mean, the game is incredibly complex. You're going to get new areas, you're going to get new stuff just constantly when you keep playing the game. The most important thing about upgrading your champions beyond the basics that I have told you are going to be ascending, so those are going to be the purple stars on champions, and awakening, so those are going to be the red stars on your champions. 3 purple stars often unlock a new ability, so it's pretty important to get that, and purple stars in general are really, really good. And even 1 red star, you get those from souls, adds a major stat boost, and it also adds a blessing ability. And those go more stronger as you add more red stars, so those are going to be the big thing with your champions. You're also going to get more progress by ascending your gear, enchanting your gear, adding relics. Relics are also going to be pretty strong. And you're going to get to so many new areas: Doom Tower, Cursed City, Grim Forest, Hydra, Chimera. There's plenty to look forward to. But for now, you have the campaign, you have those missions, you're progressing on Demon Lord, you're getting your team together. That's going to get you through the first weeks. Raid is also a game that's going to offer you a lot of stuff to buy, and a word of warning about that, because the value of things that Raid offers you, it's going to differ quite a lot. So some of the stuff is going to give you a bunch of progress, some of the stuff is not going to give you that much at all. So, like, if you want to spend a lot of money, you can. There will be diminishing returns. By far the best thing that you can buy in Raid is the daily gem pack. Gems every day for 1 month, 2,140 gems overall. If you're a low spender, you kind of want to always have that running, because those gems can be turned into so many things, and it's worth multiple times what everything else is in this game. Another great thing is Forge Pass unlocks at level 40, gives strong gear even before you're able to farm properly. So especially early on, getting your first Forge Pass and then getting gear from that is just going to skyrocket how powerful your champions are. You can usually equip at least a couple of champions from a Forge Pass, and early on you might even get enough gear to equip half a dozen. So it's just going to be account changing for you. And Apprentice Pass is also strong early on. Early progress, it gives you chickens to get your farmer up to speed. So it's a pretty strong another thing that you can buy. So those are like clearly the best things to buy. And beyond that, of course, sky is the limit, depending on your spending patterns. But do note that things vary in quality a lot, and some things are just better to buy than others. And with that, I hope you have enough information to get you started in Raid, get you through your first weeks, and most importantly, have fun with the game. Thank you for watching. Click like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and a special thanks to all of my Patreon supporters, YouTube members, and Twitch subscribers who make all of these videos possible.